Every morning you rise, the universe asks you a question. Will you live today as the same person you were yesterday, or will you become the person you were always meant to be? Yesterday is heavy. It is a weight that sits on the shoulders of your spirit, pulling you down every time you try to rise. And yet, so many of us wake each morning and carry it as though it belongs to us forever. We replay the mistakes. We rehearse the failures. We remind ourselves of what went wrong and what could have been. We drag around the echoes of voices that told us we weren't enough, and we let those echoes drown out the sound of possibility. But I came to tell you today, you do not have to keep carrying yesterday's chains. Chains come in many forms. Sometimes they are regrets, sharp and jagged like broken glass, cutting you every time you touch them. Sometimes they are old labels, names given to you by people who didn't see your worth. Sometimes they are fears binding you so tightly that you forget what freedom even feels like. And sometimes those chains are comfortable, so familiar that you've forgotten they were never meant to stay. But comfort does not mean destiny. Familiar does not mean forever. There comes a moment when you must look at what has kept you bound and make a decision to loosen the grip, to drop the key in the lock, to let go and step forward without dragging those rusted links behind you. That moment is now. You cannot take yesterday into tomorrow and expect abundance to greet you. Abundance does not arrive where chains remain. Every sunrise is a reminder that the universe has given you permission to start again. Do you know how miraculous that is? To be given another day, another chance, another breath? That is proof that you are not meant to repeat yesterday's sorrows. That is proof that you are being invited to create something new. But here is the truth. The invitation cannot be accepted with your hands full of the past. To hold on to what was, you must loosen your grip on what can be. Letting go is not easy. I will never stand here and tell you that it is. Because holding on gives us the illusion of control. We think that if we replay the mistake enough times, maybe we can undo it. We think that if we hold tight to the hurt, maybe we can prevent it from happening again. But life does not work that way. Holding on to pain does not prevent more pain, it only multiplies it. Holding on to regret does not rewrite the story, it only delays the next chapter. There is courage in release. There is power in saying, this may have been my story, but it is not my identity. When you let go, you are not erasing your past, you are elevating beyond it. You are saying, I honor the lessons, but I will not be defined by the wounds. You are saying, yes, I stumbled, but stumbling does not make me unworthy of rising. You are saying, yes, I have been hurt, but hurt does not cancel hope. Some of you have been carrying chains for years. Chains given to you by parents who did not understand your light. Chains placed on you by friends who betrayed you, lovers who left you, or teachers who said you weren't capable. Those voices became links, wrapping tighter and tighter around your spirit. But you must remember, those chains were never yours to carry. You accepted them because you didn't know you had the right to refuse. Now you do. Now you know that you can break free. To delete the old self, you must first delete the belief that you are bound to your past. The old self whispers, this is just who I am. I cannot change. But the new self declares, I am infinite possibility. I am renewal in motion. Every day you cling to the old story, you breathe life into it again. But every day you choose to release it, you starve it of power. Letting go is a daily act. It is not a single decision, but a repeated commitment. Every morning you rise and you decide, will I carry yesterday again, or will I drop it here? Will I walk into this day with my arms full of chains, or will I open my hands to receive abundance? This is not just spiritual poetry, it is the reality of your life. Your mind cannot hold fear and freedom at the same time. Your heart cannot hold bitterness and abundance at the same time. One must go. Abundance is not waiting for someone perfect. Abundance is waiting for someone willing to let go, willing to release, willing to trust that what is ahead is greater than what is behind. That willingness is what deletes the old self. That willingness is what opens the door to a new season. Think of it this way. A bird cannot fly with chains around its wings. You cannot soar into your destiny while tethered to yesterday. You may still feel the memory of the weight. You may still hear the echo of the past, but every time you take a step forward in faith, the sound grows fainter. Every time you choose gratitude over regret, the chain rusts away. Every time you speak life over yourself instead of rehearsing pain, another link falls to the ground. The truth is, you have always been free. The chains have only ever existed in your mind. And the moment you decide to release them, you discover that the lock was never truly closed. You have always had the key. So I say to you now, let go. Release the regrets that have eaten away at your joy. Release the bitterness that has taken root in your soul. Release the fear that has kept you small. Drop those chains on the ground and walk forward into this day, unburdened, unbroken, unbound. The old self may try to call you back, but you must remind it. Its time is over. Your time is now. The morning is more than light breaking through the cracks of night. The morning is a rebirth. It is the universe placing in your hands another chance, another chapter, another beginning. Every time you wake up, life is whispering to you, here, try again. And yet so many of us stumble out of bed already carrying yesterday, already dragging the weight of mistakes, already repeating the story that no longer serves us. We forget the miracle of the morning because we treat it like an obligation instead of a gift. But when you truly honor the morning, when you see it as the sacred renewal it is, your whole life shifts. The morning is not just a change of time, it is a change of possibility. When you open your eyes, you are being given permission to start over no matter what yesterday held. Yesterday could have been filled with failure, with disappointment, with heartbreak. But when the sun rises, it does not ask you to bring that with you. It asks you to leave it behind. It says, let it rest in the dark. This day is new. That is the power of morning renewal. Too many people rise from their sleep, but never rise in their spirit. They wake up physically, but mentally they are still in yesterday's shadows. They are awake in body, but asleep in soul. They roll out of bed carrying their doubts, their anger, their regrets, and they wonder why abundance never greets them. But abundance does not visit the mind that is still locked in yesterday. Abundance meets you in the morning when you dare to step into the newness offered to you. Every sunrise carries a lesson. Life is a cycle of constant renewal. The earth spins, the night fades, the darkness passes, and light returns. That cycle is not just for the skies above you, it is for the soul within you. You are not meant to live in a single story forever. You are not meant to be bound to yesterday's identity. You are meant to rise and rise again, each morning bringing you closer to the person you are becoming. The power of morning renewal begins in your awareness. The first words you speak when you wake up are seeds. If the first thing you say is, I'm tired, you are planting fatigue into the soil of your day. If the first thing you say is, I can't, you are planting defeat before the sun has fully risen. But if the first words you speak are gratitude, if the first thought in your mind is possibility, then you have watered your day with abundance. Morning is the soil of your destiny. Whatever you plant there will grow. Renewal also means forgiveness. You cannot step into the fresh air of the morning with the staleness of bitterness in your lungs. Some of you woke up today still angry about yesterday. Some of you woke up rehearsing words spoken in hurt, replaying moments you cannot change. But the morning gives you a chance to forgive, not for them, but for you. Forgiveness is the broom that sweeps the soul clean so that abundance has room to enter. Without it, you clutter the house of your spirit with yesterday's dust. Morning renewal is not only about what you release, but about what you invite. You invite clarity by giving yourself silence. You invite strength by moving your body with intention. You invite abundance by affirming your worth. What you choose to do in the first hour of your day sets the rhythm for everything that follows. If you rise in chaos, your day will echo with it. If you rise in peace, your day will reflect it. The world outside may still swirl in uncertainty, but your inner world can remain grounded when you claim your morning. Do you know why so many successful people guard their mornings? Because they understand that the morning is not to be wasted. It is the prime soil for creation. It is the time when your mind is most impressionable, when your spirit is most open. What you feed yourself in the morning will determine how strong you are when challenges appear. If you fill your morning with noise, comparison, and worry, you weaken your spirit before the day has even begun. But if you fill it with vision, gratitude, and purpose, you carry unshakable strength with you wherever you go. The renewal of morning is not about perfection. You will still face storms. You will still encounter struggle. But renewal gives you a reset button. It allows you to stand in the present moment and say, this day is mine. This day is a gift. This day will not be wasted. And in that declaration, you align yourself with abundance, because abundance flows where intention is clear, where energy is fresh, where the heart is open. Think about it. Each morning, the sun does not ask permission to shine. It does not apologize for yesterday's clouds. It does not hesitate because of the storms that came before. It rises anyway. That is the lesson for you. Do not let yesterday's storms dictate today's rise. Shine because it is morning. Shine because it is your nature. Shine because every day is another chance to reflect the light you carry within. You are not bound to yesterday's self. You are not stuck in yesterday's mistakes. You are not chained to yesterday's fears. The power of morning renewal is that you can wake up different. You can wake up stronger. You can wake up wiser. You can wake up ready to live a new story. But you must choose it. You must claim it. You must say, today I delete the old and I step into the new. Morning is the breath of life reminding you, start again. Morning is the earth's way of telling you, nothing lasts forever, not even the darkness. Morning is abundance knocking at your door, waiting to see if you will let it in. So rise not just in body, but in spirit. Rise with gratitude, rise with vision, rise with courage, rise with the knowing that the morning has made you new, and in your newness, abundance will find you. Your mouth is the doorway of your destiny. The words that leave your lips do not vanish into thin air. They travel into the atmosphere. They take root in the soil of your reality, and they grow into the life you live. What you speak is what you see. What you declare is what you draw near. Too often we underestimate the power of the tongue. We toss words around carelessly, not realizing that each word is a seed and every seed will bear fruit. Some of you are living today in the harvest of words you spoke years ago, and until you decide to speak differently, you will continue to reap the same results. Speaking abundance into existence is not a trick. It is not a gimmick. It is not a false hope. It is the alignment of your language with the truth of your worth. When you speak abundance, you are telling the universe, I believe in my value, I believe in my purpose, and I believe that more is meant for me. The energy you release through your words comes back to you multiplied. That is why you must be deliberate, intentional, and unshakable in what you allow to flow from your lips. So many of us sabotage ourselves with the words we speak. We rise in the morning, and the first thing we say is, I'm tired. We face a challenge, and the first words out of our mouths are, I can't do this. We dream of a better future, but we cancel it with statements like, "That's impossible," or "People like me never get there." Each of those words is a chain. Each phrase another lock around the gates of your destiny. You cannot call abundance with the language of lack. You cannot attract overflow while declaring emptiness. There is a rhythm to life, a frequency that responds to what you release. If you speak fear, you attract more things to fear. If you speak doubt, you attract reasons to doubt. But if you speak faith, if you speak possibility, if you speak abundance, you call forth opportunities, doors, and miracles that were waiting to hear your voice. Your words are keys. They open or they close. They create or they destroy. They build or they tear down. The question is not whether your words are powerful. The question is, how are you using that power? Speaking abundance into existence requires discipline. It requires catching yourself when your old self tries to speak through you. That old voice will whisper, "You'll never have enough. You'll never be enough. Life is always going to be this hard." And if you do not challenge that voice, you will repeat its curse. But when you answer back with words of truth, "I am worthy, I am capable, I am overflowing with possibilities," you silence the old story and breathe life into the new. Words are not just sounds, they carry energy. Think about the last time someone spoke encouragement over you. Didn't it feel like a weight lifted? Didn't it fill your spirit with lightness, with hope? That is the proof. Words shift atmospheres. If another person's words can do that for you, imagine what your own words can do when you speak them over your life with conviction. You are not waiting for someone else to validate you. You can validate yourself. You can affirm yourself. You can bless yourself with the language you choose. And do not misunderstand. Speaking abundance is not pretending life is perfect. It is not denying challenges. It is declaring that challenges are not the final word. It is refusing to let scarcity, fear, or negativity dominate your vocabulary. You can acknowledge the storm and still speak calm. You can face a setback and still speak victory. You can walk through lack and still declare abundance. That is not delusion. That is faith. That is vision. That is power. Your words set the tone for how you see the world. If you constantly say, "Nothing good ever happens to me," you will overlook every blessing because your eyes have been trained to see only lack. But if you wake each day saying, "Good things are looking for me, abundance is chasing me, opportunities are flowing toward me," your vision changes. Suddenly, you notice possibilities that were always there but hidden by your negative speech. You don't create abundance out of thin air. You awaken to the abundance that was already surrounding you. Speaking abundance into existence is also about speaking life into others. When you encourage, uplift, and affirm the people around you, you expand the flow of abundance. The universe responds to generosity of spirit. When you bless others with your words, those blessings circle back to you. A river that flows never runs dry. Your mouth can be that river. Instead of speaking gossip, speak greatness. Instead of spreading complaints, spread courage. As you do, you discover that abundance is not only personal, it is communal. It grows stronger when shared. There is a scripture written on the heart of existence. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. Every time you speak, you are choosing which one you release. Choose life. Choose words that awaken, words that inspire, words that remind you of your worth. Stop rehearsing the vocabulary of defeat. Stop singing the anthem of scarcity. Begin to declare the language of abundance until it becomes the only song your soul knows how to sing. There will be days when doubt creeps in, when your circumstances seem to mock your declarations. On those days, speak anyway. Speak until your voice aligns with your spirit. Speak until the vibration of your words overpowers the lies of fear. Speak until your tongue teaches your heart how to believe again. Abundance is not summoned once. It is summoned daily, consistently, relentlessly. It answers to the voice that refuses to be silenced. The power to shift your life is already in your mouth. Every morning when you rise, remember this: the universe is listening, your future is listening, abundance is listening. What will you say? Will you curse your day before it begins, or will you bless it with expectation? Will you speak the language of lack, or will you call forth overflow? Your choice creates your reality, and when you finally choose to speak abundance into existence, your life will bloom in ways that once seemed impossible. There comes a point in every life where you must decide whether to keep repeating the story you have outgrown or to step into the chapter that has been waiting for you. Deleting the old self is not about forgetting where you came from, nor is it about denying the lessons of your past. It is about having the courage to look at the patterns, the fears, the smallness you have been carrying and choosing to let them go. It is about saying, "This is not who I am anymore." And that takes bravery because the old self is familiar. The old self is comfortable. The old self is safe, but the old self is also heavy. It keeps you locked in a cage while your wings ache to fly. So many people stay trapped in lives that no longer fit them because the thought of deleting the old self feels terrifying. They worry, who will I be without this identity? Who will I be if I let go of this pain, this role, this mask? But I tell you, the person you will become is far greater than the person you are afraid to release. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is walking through fear and refusing to be ruled by it. Courage is hearing the voice of the old self whispering, "Stay here, don't change, don't risk," and choosing instead to step forward into the unknown. The old self often clings to survival. It learned how to navigate through pain, rejection, disappointment, and fear. It built walls to protect you, and for a time those walls may have been necessary. But survival is not the same as living. At some point, you must decide that walls meant for protection have become prisons. You must decide that the patterns which once kept you safe are now keeping you small. Deleting the old self is choosing freedom over familiarity, growth over comfort, destiny over habit. And yes, it is a deletion, not a gentle edit, not a quiet adjustment, but a bold act of removing what no longer serves. That is why it takes courage. Because when you delete the old self, you also delete the excuses. You delete the reasons you've been hiding behind. You delete the stories you've used to explain why you can't. You delete the lies that kept you bound to mediocrity. And once those are gone, there is no turning back. You stand in the open field of possibility, and that can feel terrifying. But it is also exhilarating. The old self will fight to stay alive. It will remind you of every mistake you made, every failure you endured, every scar you carry. It will whisper that those wounds are who you are and that you cannot be anyone else. But that is not truth. That is memory masquerading as destiny. You are not your wounds. You are not your mistakes. You are not your fears. You are more, always more. And the courage to delete the old self comes from believing that more is possible. There will be people who prefer the old you, people who are comfortable with your smallness because it makes them feel bigger, people who are invested in your pain because it validates their own. When you begin to delete the old self, you may lose them. They may resist, they may mock, they may pull at your chains to keep you bound. But you cannot live your destiny through the eyes of those who fear change. You cannot shrink yourself to fit into spaces you have outgrown. You cannot let their comfort become your cage. Deleting the old self means forgiving yourself for the times you settled, the times you gave in, the times you played small. It means looking at the version of you who was afraid, who was broken, who was lost, and saying, "Thank you for surviving, but I no longer need you to lead me." It means honoring the role your old self played while refusing to let it dictate your future. That is courage, to love who you were, but to release them so you can become who you are meant to be. Do not expect the process to be easy. Deletion is rarely gentle. It feels like shedding skin, like peeling away layers you thought were permanent. It feels raw, uncertain, even painful at times. But beneath that shedding is renewal. Beneath that release is freedom. The caterpillar must dissolve completely before the butterfly emerges. There is no transformation without dissolution. And in the same way, your old self must dissolve for your new self to take flight. Courage is the bridge between who you were and who you are becoming. It is the willingness to cross even when you cannot see the other side. It is trusting that the unknown will hold you, even when the old self begs you to stay behind. Courage does not wait for proof. Courage moves and proof follows. The moment you delete the old self, life responds. Doors open, opportunities appear, abundance flows. Not because it was not there before, but because you finally created space for it. The old self was built on fear, but the new self is built on possibility. The old self was built on limitation, but the new self is built on expansion. The old self was built on silence, but the new self is built on voice. Every time you choose courage, you weaken the grip of the old self. Every time you choose growth, you strengthen the new. Deletion is not a single moment. It is a daily decision. Each morning you rise and say, "Today, I will not be yesterday. Today, I will step into more." So ask yourself now, what parts of me must I delete? What beliefs, what habits, what voices no longer serve my destiny? Then stand in the courage to do it. Stand in the courage to say goodbye to the self that cannot walk with you into abundance. You cannot carry yesterday into tomorrow. You cannot walk into a new season wearing the garments of the old. Deletion is required, and courage is the key. Gratitude is not simply saying thank you. It is a way of seeing the world. It is a posture of the heart, a lens through which life becomes more abundant, more beautiful, more alive. When you live with the spirit of gratitude, you awaken to blessings that others overlook. You notice the ordinary and realize it is extraordinary. You take nothing for granted, and because you do, everything multiplies. Gratitude is not about ignoring the struggles of life. It is about choosing to focus on the light that still shines in the midst of darkness. It is a decision, a practice, and a doorway to abundance. There are people who wake up every day surrounded by more than they realize. Food on their tables, roofs over their heads, opportunities within reach, and yet they live in constant complaint. They speak more about what they lack than what they have, and they wonder why joy escapes them. But gratitude is the magnet for joy. When you live in gratitude, you become a vessel open to receiving. The universe is generous, but it pours its gifts into hands that are open, not fists that are clenched in bitterness. Gratitude shifts your perspective. A grateful heart does not deny pain, but it refuses to let pain define the whole picture. Yes, you may have faced struggle, but gratitude reminds you of the strength you found in the midst of it. Yes, you may have been betrayed, but gratitude whispers about the lessons that betrayal taught you and the wisdom you carry because of it. Gratitude does not erase hardship. It transforms how you hold it. It turns wounds into wisdom, obstacles into opportunities, and endings into beginnings. Every breath you take is a reminder that life has not given up on you. The fact that you are alive today, listening, breathing, existing, is proof of a gift already in your hands. And yet so many people overlook it, waiting for some grand miracle before they feel thankful. But gratitude does not wait for the extraordinary, it celebrates the ordinary. Gratitude says, I may not have everything I want, but I honor everything I have. And in honoring it, you create space for more. Abundance does not flow into a heart of complaint. Abundance is drawn to the spirit of gratitude. When you rise in the morning and whisper, "Thank you," you tune your spirit to the frequency of more. Gratitude is not just a feeling, it is a call, a signal, a vibration. It sends out energy that attracts blessings back to you. The more you appreciate, the more you receive to appreciate. That is the law of gratitude. It is not about pretending your life is perfect. It is about magnifying what is good until it multiplies. Think of the sun. It rises every day, even on cloudy mornings when you cannot see it. Gratitude is like that. It shines even when circumstances try to block it. Gratitude does not depend on conditions. It depends on choice. You can choose to grumble about the clouds, or you can choose to give thanks for the light that still exists above them. And when you choose gratitude, you find yourself lighter, freer, more aligned with joy. There will always be something missing. There will always be another goal, another dream, another step you want to take. If you only wait to be grateful when everything is perfect, you will never taste the sweetness of life. Gratitude is not found in the destination, it is found on the journey. It is found in the small moments, the laughter of a loved one, the comfort of a warm meal, the beauty of a sunrise, the kindness of a stranger. Gratitude notices these moments and declares, "This too is abundance." When you live without gratitude, no amount of success will satisfy you. You will chase more and more, but it will never be enough. But when you live with gratitude, even the smallest success feels like a treasure. Gratitude teaches you to see wealth not only in material things, but in love, in peace, in health, in time, in presence. It teaches you that abundance is not something far away, it is something already here, and gratitude is contagious. When you practice it, you inspire others to do the same. Your words of thankfulness become seeds in the hearts of those around you. Your attitude of appreciation becomes a mirror, reminding others of their own blessings. Gratitude multiplies not only in your life, but in the lives of everyone it touches. A spirit of gratitude creates ripples that stretch far beyond what you can see. Sometimes gratitude requires courage. It is easy to be grateful when life is smooth, but when storms rage, gratitude is an act of faith. It is standing in the rain and saying, "I trust that the sun still shines." It is standing in loss and saying, "I honor the love I once had." It is standing in trial and saying, "I give thanks for the strength this season will give me." Gratitude in hard times is not denial, it is defiance. It is refusing to let darkness steal your light. Make gratitude a daily practice. Speak it aloud, write it down, whisper it before you sleep and when you wake. Train your heart to notice, to honor, to celebrate. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes, until gratitude is not something you do, it is who you are. And when gratitude becomes your nature, abundance becomes your reality. Gratitude says to the universe, "I see the gift." And the universe responds, "Here is more." Gratitude says, "I will not waste what I have." And the universe says, "Then I can trust you with greater." Gratitude is the key that unlocks doors you did not even know existed. It is the melody that attracts harmony. It is the soil where joy and abundance grow. When you live with the spirit of gratitude, you no longer measure life by what is missing. You measure it by what is present. And in that presence, you discover that you are richer than you ever imagined. Gratitude does not change what you have, it changes how you see it. And in changing how you see, it transforms everything. Walking in worthiness is not about arrogance, nor is it about proving to the world that you deserve to exist. It is about recognizing the inherent value that has been within you since the moment you entered this life. Too many people spend their days apologizing for who they are, shrinking to make others comfortable, or waiting for someone else to validate their worth. But worthiness is not something handed to you by another person. It is something you step into, something you choose to carry, something you refuse to lay down. To walk in worthiness is to stand tall, even when others try to belittle you, and to know deep in your spirit that you are already enough. From childhood, many of us are taught conditions for love and acceptance. We are told to achieve more, to look a certain way, to accomplish certain goals before we can truly be valued. This conditioning creates adults who live in silent desperation, always chasing approval that never comes. But worthiness cannot be earned by achievements. It cannot be granted by applause. It cannot be taken away by criticism. Worthiness is intrinsic, woven into your very being. The moment you realize that, you begin to live with a freedom that no external voice can shake. Walking in worthiness means you stop begging for a seat at tables where your presence is not honored. You no longer try to prove your value to people who are blind to it. You recognize that if someone cannot see your worth, it does not mean it is absent. It only means their vision is limited. And when you know your worth, you stop lowering your standards just to be accepted. You stop silencing your voice just to be liked. You stop bending yourself out of shape to fit into spaces that were never meant to hold you. Worthiness allows you to walk away with your head high because you understand that losing acceptance from others is not the same as losing your value. So many people live as if they are unworthy of joy, unworthy of success, unworthy of love. They sabotage opportunities, reject kindness, and belittle their own dreams because deep down they have been convinced they are not enough. But worthiness is not about perfection, it is about presence. You do not have to be flawless to deserve love. You do not have to achieve greatness to deserve peace. You do not have to have all the answers to deserve belonging. Your worth is not conditional, it is constant. It is not up for debate, it is already decided. Walking in worthiness means embracing this truth and refusing to act as though your value must be earned. When you walk in worthiness, you radiate a confidence that is not rooted in ego, but in authenticity. You stop performing and start being. You no longer chase validation because you understand that the only true validation comes from within. You do not demand attention, yet you draw it, because people are naturally drawn to those who walk in alignment with who they are. Worthiness makes you magnetic, not because you are trying to impress, but because you are fully embodying your true self. There will be moments when doubt whispers. There will be seasons when failure makes you question your value. But worthiness is not fragile. It is not dependent on outcomes. If you succeed, you are worthy. If you fail, you are still worthy. If you are celebrated, you are worthy. If you are overlooked, you are still worthy. Nothing external has the power to change your worth. Walking in worthiness is about remembering this truth, especially in the moments when life tries to make you forget. When you walk in worthiness, you treat yourself differently. You stop accepting toxic love because you know you deserve better. You stop wasting time on things that diminish you because you know your time is valuable. You stop belittling yourself with your own words because you know the way you speak to yourself matters. Worthiness is not just about how others treat you, it is about how you treat yourself. If you carry yourself as though you are unworthy, the world will mirror that back to you. But when you carry yourself as worthy, the world begins to rise to meet that standard. Worthiness also transforms the way you pursue your goals. Instead of striving from a place of lack, always trying to prove something, you begin to create from a place of abundance. You do not chase opportunities out of desperation. You attract them with confidence. You do not pursue dreams to validate your worth. You pursue them because your worth already gives you the right to dream. You walk into rooms knowing you belong, not because you are better than anyone else, but because you understand that everyone has a place, and yours is no less significant. Walking in worthiness also gives you resilience. When life knocks you down, you rise again, not because it is easy, but because you know deep down that you are not defined by setbacks. Failure does not make you unworthy, it simply refines you. Rejection does not strip you of value, it redirects you. Worthiness gives you the strength to keep moving, to keep showing up, to keep believing, because you know that your essence cannot be diminished by temporary circumstances. And worthiness is not selfish. When you live in it, you give others permission to do the same. You become an example, a reminder, a mirror of what it looks like to embrace value without apology. You show people that they too can release the chains of insecurity, that they too can step into the fullness of their being. Your worthiness uplifts others because it shines a light on the truth that has been within them all along. Every day you have a choice. You can walk as though you are lacking, apologizing for your existence, begging for scraps of validation, or you can walk as though you are whole, knowing you already carry everything you need within you. Walking in worthiness does not mean life will always be easy. It means that no matter what life brings, you will never again question whether you are enough. Because you are, you always have been, and you always will be. Choosing abundance daily is not a one-time event, not a single revelation that carries you through the rest of your life. It is a deliberate decision you make every morning when you open your eyes. It is a commitment to step into the fullness of who you are, even when doubt creeps in, even when circumstances seem bleak, even when the weight of yesterday's struggles lingers. Abundance is not something the world gives to you. It is something you decide to embody, something you allow to flow through you. And that decision must be made again and again because life will always present opportunities to shrink, to settle, to believe in scarcity. But when you choose abundance daily, you remind yourself that there is more than enough love, more than enough opportunity, more than enough joy for you to claim your share. Abundance is a posture of the heart. It is not measured by what you own or how much you earn, but by how you see the world and how you see yourself. You can live in a mansion and still walk in scarcity if you believe you are unworthy. If you believe you must hold tightly to everything out of fear it will vanish. And you can live in a simple room with very little, yet walk in abundance if your spirit is open, if gratitude flows freely from your lips, if you believe that each day holds new blessings waiting to be revealed. That is why abundance must be chosen daily. It is less about circumstances and more about perspective. When you rise in the morning, the first thoughts you allow to settle in your mind set the tone for everything that follows. If you choose to focus on what is missing, the entire day becomes a search for lack. But if you choose to focus on what is present, what is possible, what is beautiful, then your day becomes a canvas painted with possibility. Choosing abundance daily means deciding that you will not begin your day with despair, but with gratitude. It means training your heart to notice the blessings already around you instead of complaining about what has not yet arrived. The truth is, abundance flows toward those who expect it, not those who doubt it. It is like sunlight searching for an open window. If you close yourself off with fear, with bitterness, with cynicism, the light cannot reach you. But when you open your heart and expect goodness, it finds you. And expectation is a choice you must renew every single day. You cannot expect abundance one morning and then fall back into despair the next and wonder why nothing changes. Abundance requires consistency, like watering a garden. If you nourish it daily, it will bloom. If you neglect it, weeds of scarcity will overrun the soil of your spirit. To choose abundance daily also means you must guard your words. Your tongue is powerful. If you begin your day speaking defeat over yourself, you have already chosen scarcity. If you begin your day with words of possibility, words of strength, words of love, you invite abundance to walk with you. The language you use is not casual, it is creative. Speak abundance over your life each morning, and your life will begin to reflect the power of those declarations. But choosing abundance daily is not only about words, it is about actions. It is about making choices that align with the life you desire, not the life you fear. It is about stepping into opportunities even when they scare you, because you believe there is more waiting beyond your comfort zone. It is about giving generously, even when you do not feel like you have much, because you trust that what you give returns multiplied. Abundance cannot live in a clenched fist. It only flows through open hands, open hearts, open minds. There will be days when life tests your commitment to abundance. Days when the bills pile high, when people disappoint you, when doors close. On those days, scarcity will whisper, "See, you are not blessed, you are not enough." But it is in those moments that your choice matters most. Choosing abundance daily does not mean ignoring reality. It means refusing to let reality define your spirit. You can face challenges and still believe that provision is on its way. You can walk through storms and still trust that the sun will rise again. Abundance is not about denying difficulties. It is about refusing to let difficulties define your identity. The beautiful truth is that abundance is contagious. When you choose it daily, it spills into the lives of those around you. People feel your energy, your optimism, your gratitude, and they too begin to lift their heads a little higher. Your choice to live in abundance becomes permission for others to believe they can as well. And so, by choosing abundance daily, you are not only transforming your own life, you are transforming the atmosphere everywhere you go. Every morning, you have two paths before you. One path leads to scarcity, a road where you are constantly comparing yourself, constantly worrying, constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop. The other path leads to abundance, where you see opportunities instead of obstacles, where you trust in the timing of your life, where you walk with the quiet confidence that you are cared for and supported. The path you walk is determined not by fate, but by choice. And that choice must be made again and again, sunrise after sunrise. Abundance is not far from you. It is not reserved for the fortunate few. It is near, waiting at the door of your heart, asking to be invited in. The question is not whether it will come. The question is whether you will choose it. Will you choose to believe in possibility instead of limitation? Will you choose to speak words of life instead of words of defeat? Will you choose to trust in the unseen rather than cling to fear? Every day offers you this invitation. Every day is a fresh opportunity to step into the flow of abundance. So when tomorrow greets you, rise with this decision already made. Decide that no matter what happened yesterday, you will choose abundance again today. Decide that no matter what you lack in your hands, you will live with fullness in your heart. Decide that no matter what voices of scarcity try to whisper, you will walk with the unshakable knowledge that there is more than enough for you. Abundance is not a distant dream. It is a daily choice. And every day you choose it, you create a life that reflects it more and more. My friend, the old self has served its time, but it cannot serve your destiny. Each dawn is not just a sunrise, it is a calling. Delete what no longer belongs. Stand in the light of your true self. And as you rise each morning with gratitude, courage, and boldness, abundance will not just visit you, it will dwell within you. So tomorrow when the sun rises, don't rise as you were. Rise as you are becoming.